Hello, how are you?
Good. How about
Good. How
you?
about you?
Doing well,
Hi,
doing well, yes.
hi, Catherine.
Hi everyone. How are you guys?
Good.
Good, good. You feeling better?
Not particularly. No,
Oh,
I really don't know. I haven't actually gotten sick, but I feel like I'm not well. So
yeah.
it's they sent me some sort of allergy medicine, but I don't have allergies that I know of. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. How is everybody? Well, I hope.
Yeah, doing
I'm
good, doing
well.
good. Good to see you.
Excellent. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we had um, a house, tiny house, 14-foot tiny house. Tell you the story real quick. That while people are getting ready here, that we wanted to build for a homeless person, and the builder's supplying the material, and I have the trailer, and we're looking for labor. So I live here close to the Villages in Florida, which is a big retirement community. And I went last
Right.
week. I couldn't pay anybody, couldn't find workers or anything. So I went last week to the woodworking shops. They have two of them here, and put flyers out. And doggone if we didn't get people wanting to help out and build for free, no charge.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so
Amazing.
we had
Yay.
four people show up this morning. Four others said they couldn't make it, but they wanted. And then I had another guy emailed. So it looks like we're going to have about a dozen people from the Villages that will come out and help us build this little 14-foot tiny house.
That's
So
very
Wow.
cool,
Oh,
very cool.
Well, I
that's
guess the
cool.
one thing we learned from our teaching so far is that we should make sure they all have insurance.
yeah, yep,
Right.
yep. That's on the questionnaire, and there's a disclaimer on there too to hold harmless.
Excellent.
Hold
How do
harmless.
you actually become a NOAA inspector?
How does one become a NOAA inspector?
Hmm.
Well,
Just curious.
well,
You have to go
yeah,
through me.
basically what we do is we've got two different avenues. When we started out, it was just InterNACHI, which is a home inspection company. And we wanted people that were used to looking at homes, inspecting homes. And InterNACHI gave us the opportunity to insure or guarantee our homes for 90 days after completion if we use the InterNACHI inspectors, that they would buy back the home if there was something seriously wrong with it, like we forgot to put an egress window in, or something that wasn't easily
Right.
fixed. So it was a 90-day buyback guarantee. And then as people started to move in the direction away from RVs to more homes, and looking for IRC, or International Residential Code, then we started hiring ICC building inspectors that were ICC licensed in structural and um, electrical, mechanical. And so those are the two avenues that we use. They're either home inspectors, which can still do tiny houses on wheels as RVs using a home inspector, and then the building inspectors too. That was the other route. The
Wow.
only thing that we were having difficult with was building inspectors are used to being the authority, I guess you could say. They have a big ego,
Right.
and and so when we do the tiny houses on wheels, it's a voluntary service. I mean, you can still build your tiny house without any kind of inspection and certification. It won't be that way for a long forever, probably, but for right now it is. And so we need inspectors that, how can I say it, have customer service skills, you know, and so our guys that we hired, from some of them were just like, it's my way or the highway. I'm going to red tag your tiny house, this kind of a thing.
Right.
And
More than anything, huh?
it was difficult, in some ways. So they got to have both. They got to have the skill to of the and the licenses, but then they also have to have the ability to to do good customer service.
Well, I'm really excited about what you're doing, you guys. And I think I mentioned this to Darla, but if there's anything that Living Life Tiny can do, you know, my hopes is to someday that it's a nonprofit and more like a hub just of how can we make, you know, this where people know to go. And if there's anything that I can do to help, let me know, because you're welcome to use my site and anything that I can do. I'm really support what you do and thank you.
Leanne, did you take note of that?
I took note of that. Yes.
So, you
Yeah.
know, she's got a website. She's, you know, she's our social media marketing gal. So, you know,
Limited amount. I
Me.
have more passion than anything. That is the truth.
let's go ahead.
but
Let's go ahead and
Yeah.
get this thing started if we can, Leanne.
yes,
Yeah, let's get this party started. Well, good evening, afternoon, everybody. I'm Leanne Fleischer with NOAA, and we're happy to have you guys here. Happy Monday. Happy Thanksgiving week. We are grateful that you all have joined us. And first, I just want to make sure it's okay with you guys. We're recording this, and it will be uploaded to our website for everyone to watch that wasn't able to be with us live. So if you don't want to be recorded, then I'm sorry, you'll just have to exit. Anyway, tonight we have a builder with us. It is Builder Day. And if you guys have any questions at all for him, you can pop those in the chat or raise your hand. You can raise your hand where it says reactions, or if it can wait till the end of Robin and Stephen talking, then we'll do it at the end, whichever. We're very flexible. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Robin. Robin?
All right. Thank you guys for showing up. And this is, I don't even know, week, whatever, 25. Did we have done 25 of these so far? Man, it just seems like, you know, crazy. But yeah, and I know I've been on every one of them, and I hope you guys have been able to catch those too. I just got back from a tiny house show in Sarasota last night at Siesta Key, and so we made some neat contacts there, and we're able to speak on Saturday twice. So yeah, it's been a real busy couple of months for us over here at NOAA, but we're really excited to have Stephen with us today, and he's not only a builder, but before that he was doing some other things, which we'll get him to tell you about. So Stephen, why don't you tell us your name and a little bit about yourself and what you were doing and what you are doing currently.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, my name's Stephen Harrell. I'm the owner of Tiny House Listings. So we're like the marketplace for tiny houses. And we're still definitely doing that. That's where people go to buy and sell tiny houses. And we've been around since 2010. We've been around ever since the beginning, and or near the beginning. And so that's, you know, we are the place where we connect buyers and sellers, builders and buyers, all that stuff. So in the last 12 years, I was sharing with Robin and Leanne earlier that we've over 50,000 tiny houses have sold through tiny house listings. So it's been, you know, steady growth ever since we launched 12 years ago. And recently we started actually building tiny houses, and we wanted to make sure all of ours were legit. So the first stop was NOAA. We wanted to make sure every one of them was up to code and up to par and all that. So it's been great working with you guys so far. So we really appreciate it. And I want to echo what the young lady said before. We appreciate what you guys are doing. I think it's fantastic that there's some sort of accountability, and hopefully more and more builders will continue to go with you guys and continue to grow. And so I think it's fantastic. But yeah, right now we have a warehouse here in Wilmington, North Carolina, and we're building tiny houses. And the goal is to ramp up production because in the years, you know, when I first got started with it, there was always the 16-foot tiny houses that people spent $10,000 fixing to, you know, themselves, and they would go scrap the barn wood off the side of a barn and put together a tiny house, and, you know, it's super affordable. And the trend, for the most part, has continued to go away, in my opinion, from affordable tiny houses, which I understand. Every builder has their own, demographic that they're reaching towards, but we're going towards middle of the line and maybe even lower price point for our tiny houses. And that's what we want to do. We want to be able to build a lot of them. And when we build a lot, we don't need to make quite as much money per unit. And that's what we're focused on. So right now we're building just one tiny house model that is size 18, 24, and 28 feet. So the customers get to choose from that. And again, we're here in Wilmington, North Carolina. We've already sold quite a few. We're still new to building, but all the people that work here on my team have been building houses and other structures for a very long time. So now we're doing the marketing for other builders, for people that own a tiny house that are used and just want to sell it. And we're also building new ones. And so that's where we're at.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, how many have you? I mean, I know you've got an 18, 24, and a 28. You told us earlier in your shop right there that we might be able to take a look at those 4 houses later on in the evening here. But are these your first ones, or have you already built some and sold some?
In 2020, we were working with some other people outside of Wilmington, and we built quite a few of those, and we sold those. Those weren't certified, so we weren't with NOAA back then. And then when the pandemic hit, we shut that operation down, and we decided to just focus exclusively on the online marketplace. But now that, in my opinion, pipelines are back open and the materials and prices are going down for the most part. In some areas, I know they're not fully. We decided to crank things back up again. So yeah, we built in 2020. We built quite a few of them, and now we're starting again.
Okay. So when you say you're in that middle price point, what's an 18, 24, and a 28 going for price wise?
The 18-footer is right around just over 40,000.
Okay.
And then we have right now the 224s that just sold were in the lower 50s. And then the 28-footer is in the mid 50s.
Okay. Well, that's not bad, in mid 50s. For a 28-footer, even for an 18-footer, that's not bad. Now, guys, I don't know whether you're familiar with the price of tiny houses, but they're different pricing on tiny houses than they're on regular homes. And we had this over the weekend. That per square foot, and a lot of people are looking at per square foot. How much tiny houses cost. If I had my phone available, I'd figure that out real quick for you. But what do you think per square foot that, if somebody can take 8 times 28 and divide that $50,000, see how much per square foot that would be an interesting number to play with if somebody wants to.
About
I have one in my head. What is it?
About 220, 225.
There you go, guys. 220, 225. Stephen knows right off the top of his head. Well, here's the thing. You can build a house for probably $150 a square foot. Now I know it's gone up, but tiny houses, when you're building a tiny house, you still have a kitchen, you still have a bath, you still have the electric system, the plumbing system, all the things that go into a big house. The only thing you're not paying for is the extra space, that extra air that a big house is going to give to you. And that's the reasoning behind it. But at $220 a square foot, I've been doing value opinions for a couple of years here now, Stephen, and the rest of you guys, and we're hitting in the 325 range on some of the houses that we've been looking at. So that's a very, very good price, for homes.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's see if there's anything as far as amenities that you when you say you're midline, are you adding anything at all to your tiny house that would be considered an amenity or an upsell or anything like that?
Not really. I mean, because in my opinion, the biggest mistake that most builders make is every time they get a new customer, they have to go shopping. And I'm not trying to do that because the customizations and the extra time is the biggest expense, right? So I want to keep everything, there's only just a few options in terms of color, different flooring, things like that. But for the most part, every one of these are the same. And I think people who have a limited budget are willing to understand that and to forego some of the customizations that they otherwise would want to have just so they could have an affordable house. So, I mean, all of ours, we either do propane, hot water heater, and cooktop, or we're doing electric tank water heater and 2-burner cooktop. That's an option you can have. And then the color of the flooring, the color of the exterior. They come with a refrigerator and 1-piece shower. I can show you guys here in a second when we take a quick walk through. But for the most part, we're keeping things very, very simple.
Okay. What type of siding are you putting on it?
Well, on this first one, it is board and batten vinyl and also LP siding, but we've since moved over to exclusively LP siding, and we're running it in different ways. So we can do multiple colors, because I think when the entire thing is one color, it looks more like a park model or a mobile home. So we want to give it a little bit of dimension, so to speak.
Are you using the pre-finished LP Smart side, or are you painting it?
Unfortunately not. It's hard to get our hands on it around here.
So you're painting?
Yeah, we're painting it,
Smart
which is funny because just across the bridge, there's a huge LP facility where we live here, but we can't get our hands on it.
Oh, wow. Talk about windows. Are you having trouble getting your windows? Are you using the vinyl double insulated single hungs, or what are you using?
The latter, the single hungs, yeah. So, I mean, they're pretty plentiful around here. There's a store here called, what is it called? Home Outlet. And they carry a ton of windows in different sizes. And if we have to use those, if we have to change the size just a little bit to get our hands on them, we'll do it. So.
Right. All right. And doors probably not too much of a problem for your entry door. You only need one of those. Okay.
That's right.
Roofing. What are you using for the top of your roof?
So far we've done architectural shingles and also 26 gauge metal. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Which I think on our model, the shingles actually look better. I wouldn't think they would have, but once we wheeled it out of the warehouse and put it out in the sun, I was like, wow, okay, the shingles look pretty good.
And guys, shingles aren't really a problem. You just have to make sure that you have enough pitch on your roof for a shingle. I'm not sure is it 2.5, 12, the minimum pitch, and you have to have some special underlayment in order to get it down that low. 412 is about the minimum without any special underlayment. And then if you're making a delivery on a shingled house, make sure you leave it out in the sun for a few days and let the tabs glue themselves together. Otherwise, you're going to be blowing off shingles going down the road.
True story.
And the other tip that we found out was that even on the metal roofing, you want to lap your metal so that when you're going down the road, you're not the wind isn't catching it and ripping it off. Because we've had at least one builder that the builder didn't do it right, and when the house was being delivered, some of the roofing just wind got underneath and pulled it right off in there. So anyway, we were talking before we turned everybody on about something that I'd like to bring up, and I think Stephen, you had some interesting things to talk about, and I don't necessarily want to use any names, but when you're out there trying to find a good builder for your tiny house, what are some safeguards that we can put into place? What are some things that we can do? You got any suggestions? I mean, what makes you a good builder and a good opportunity for a buyer to come and buy from you than maybe somebody else? Let's put it that way.
Well, I mean, like for us, getting certified was a really big, going with you guys. That's the first thing, is to give our customers peace of mind, to let them know that at least there's some safeguards that are in the build that someone else has laid their eyes on, right? So for us, that was the first thing, just because we've been in the business for 12 years, and even though we're relatively new to building, we have a very firmly established name in the tiny house world. But even so, I think is important. That's the first thing I would do. I wouldn't put down my life savings, which is most people buying a tiny house, on a house that is not certified, in my opinion. And then, like you said, I know it's, yeah, I know you said it's very, it's what is the word you use? You don't have to be certified, but it's a good idea. So that's the first thing.
Yeah, okay, well, thanks for that plug there. But anyway, it doesn't, and we're not the only game in town, guys, and certified doesn't necessarily mean the end all. Certified means that that there were inspectors that had eyes on every stage of the build. Lisa NOAA certified. Inspectors had eyes on everything, and there were minimum standards that were met. But we do not, we do not, what can I say? We're not involved with the builder's quality. We're not their quality control people, which some people think that, we're into quality control. No, we're into standards, life safety and fire safety standards. So whether the miter joints are tight or not tight, that's up to your builder. Make sure that that you do that. The other thing that we have seen is where builders have put down deposits and then never did the build. I was telling guys earlier that I was with Jeremy. I mean with what's his name? Help me out, guys. The Siesta Key guy. Jeremy Ricky. Yeah, there it is. Jeremy
Oh
Ricky.
yeah, I know him. Yep.
Yeah, anyway, he, his builder was struggling financially, and then he wanted 26,000 for 3 trailers, and that he's going to build for him. And Jeremy said, no, I don't want to, I don't want to give you $26,000, but I will pay for the trailers, which he did. And then the guy took the trailers and he ground off, and I'm not telling you anything he didn't say publicly yesterday, but he ground off the VIN numbers and then built somebody else's trailer on the trailer. And then he pawned one of the trailers that he had. And so you hear those kind of horror stories. And I hear them from time to time where a builder either, and they're usually not maliciously, but they are, just not good businessmen. And when they get that deposit, they say, oh, I need a new truck. And they go out and buy a new truck. So it's that kind of thing you need to be careful. So you guys that are builders and you guys that are looking to make a good name for yourself, we are working on right now, Stephen, something called a 5-star builder. And the 5-star builder obviously is NOAA certified, but there's some other qualifications too. I don't know whether you've thought about it, but a $15,000 performance bond would be required, which means that that the builder is going to do at least $15,000 worth of work on it, because it's guaranteed with his bond. And so if you wanted to pace your builder with draws, you could give him $15,000, let him do $15,000 worth of work, give him another $15,000. That might be a way to go. And then also there's a workshop that we did called a 5-star builder workshop that they do, shows some financial stability, but that's something that we're working on. And then if you are a quote unquote 5-star builder with NOAA, on our map, we're going to put a star by your name. So it's just something we're trying to do to help out the tiny house community right now because they're always calling us and asking us who we recommend. And we really can't do that. We're impartial when it comes to builders, but we're always asked about that. So did that help anybody? Trying to, obviously you probably have a general liability policy, don't you, Stephen?
Yes. Yeah. The people that we lease our warehouse from require it.
Yeah. So you've got that. There's certain things that you can do, that you can check up on your builder that will be helpful when you're thinking about buying a tiny house. All right. Well, anything else we should talk about, Stephen, before we maybe get over and take a look at some units? You got anything else on your heart or mind that you?
Yeah, no, I think you're looking who's a good builder. I mean, like let's just be honest, the average end purchaser doesn't really know the right questions to ask if they don't have anyone in their family that's a builder or things like that, right? So they're not really going to know like what is the R value, and then they might know the some basic questions. So having said that, it's a good idea to go out and make sure they have references and that have that have good reviews, perhaps on Google and things like that, just to give them some tools to make a good informed decision before making a purchase.
Perfect, perfect. All right, any questions before we go take a look at some of these container homes? No, these aren't container homes. Oh, these are regular tiny houses. Sorry, guys. While he's doing that, because he's got to go off of this computer and go onto his cell phone, and he's got to move away from it in order not to get feedback. But while he's doing that, I was going to talk about some container homes that a builder that we have, and a gal, actually, a building code official that's trying to help this builder get container homes accepted in the state of Arizona in their jurisdiction. So anyway, I got a call from the building code official, Carrie Holmes, out of Yavapai, Yavapai, whatever county that is, in Yavapai, Arizona. And this company called Phoenix Modulars has been building tiny houses, and we've been doing the inspections on them, but they're doing them out of 20-foot container homes, and they're putting them on some kind of wheels. She said they're really, they don't really look like they're like homemade wheels or something like that, but they were putting them on wheels just so that they could use the ANSI standard and call it a park model, and we could inspect them. But one of the nice things about building code officials, if they love tiny houses, then they will work with you to make sure you can live in it. Stephen, you're up in North Carolina. We had a gal up in North Carolina that had bought a certified tiny house in Durham, North Carolina, and building code official, she was trying to get it as an accessory dwelling unit in her backyard, and they were allowing her to do that on a one-off basis. It was a special exception, and so they were allowing her to do that, but they're not really accepted in the state of North Carolina. They're, as RVs, they are. If you call them an RV, well, then they can go where there's an RV. But if they're going to be lived in full time as a residence or put on a lot, the local building code official can do that. Otherwise, they have to be built to the modular standard or the HUD standard and approved by a third party agency approved by the North Carolina Department of Insurance. So that's kind of what we found out about that one. So yeah, so Carrie's going to try to get these container homes approved. I mean, she's going to look at what we sent her, the file, which is kind of cool. We digitize and store all the inspections, so we sent her that file, and she's going to look at it, and I'll keep you guys posted as to whether we get approved in Yavapai, Arizona, for that. So Stephen, you want to kind of turn your camera around and show us what you got there, buddy? Okay, I don't hear you. Can you? You got your mic on mute. Can you unmute?
Sorry about
there we
that.
go.
There you go.
Sorry about that. Okay, yeah, this is a 24. I mean a 24-inch, 24-foot unit, and this is the one I was telling you about. It's got the board and batten wrapped around, and then up top we use the LP siding, different colors. And let's see if we can get out there. So, like I said, somewhat of a basic home, but also very livable. This is LP siding on the front, and it's
okay.
on all of our so far deck over trailer. So we're doing deck overs.
Okay. What's the height of the deck over? What's from the floor up?
That's a good question. I can't remember. Can you guys remember the height of a deck over? The deck over from the ground? From the ground to the deck over. What is it, about 2.5 feet?
Typically 32. Typically 32
inches.
Yeah.
He has it. Yeah, 32 sounds about
Okay.
right.
All right. Yeah, when you do a drop axle, you can get down to 22 inches for a drop axle, but it doesn't look like you're putting lofts in those.
No, just the storage loft. I mean, like we polled over 200,000 people, and believe it or not, 90% of people prefer to sleep downstairs. So,
Right.
Interesting.
so just um, you can kind of see we have downstairs sleeping, some storage
Right.
up top, canvas lighting.
What kind of siding?
Oh, the siding is beadboard.
B-board.
On the-
Okay. I mean, interior finish. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
then
what's
the
on the
lighting.
ceiling? Is that B-board also?
Yep, that's beadboard. Yep, the sides right here are made out of a different material, it's the MDF, and then these are made out of the just traditional, more like the T111 style siding. But we've moved on. We're not going to be using this in the future. We like the shiplap better. So
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. A little more expensive, but yeah, I hear you. It's a
It's
nice
just a-
countertop. What's that made out of?
that's butcher block.
Okay. Well, that's kind of an upgrade. You're not putting Formica countertops in.
No, that's. I mean, every builder's different, but that was a little bit too cheap for us. We figured it was worth the extra amount of money to put that in.
Okay. All right. And so this is more of a studio where the bed is open to the main area.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I
Gotcha.
like that.
Yeah, and then you can come in there. We have a 30-inch vanity, 36-inch one-piece shower, flush toilet, and we're glad to take that up and put a compost toilet in for someone if they're trying to go off grid. So we'll do that for sure.
Right. Right. Okay. Where's your electric panel in these?
It's hiding behind this cute little painting right here. So
Okay. All right. There you go.
there we go.
And that's what you do. You put a picture over top of it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. And you got open shelves. A lot of people like the open shelves in the kitchen.
Right. Yep.
Mhm.
And I can show you. I can take you to the next one too. That's pretty far along the way. If you guys want to see that.
Yeah,
this
definitely.
one for
While he's
sale?
walking over there.
This one's been
it's
sold
sold.
already.
Mm.
All of these are sold, and you can look down the line and see we've got quite a few of them going. So sorry for the mess.
That's
this
all right.
is
We like the mess.
This is another 24-footer. That's a 28-footer, and then down at the very end is a little bitty 18-footer. But they're all the same layout and built roughly the same. But as you can see, like I was saying earlier, we've moved over to LP all the way around, and then on the front we do more of like a board and batten style. We like the LP better. I think it's just a better product. The more people like it versus the vinyl siding.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the LP, now what I'm looking at what you're calling LP siding is the LP also makes a 4x8 sheet of siding.
Right.
Smart side.
LP
Sure.
Smart Side, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is more of a lat board siding where your 8-inch by 12-inch boards or 12-foot boards, and you lap it an inch or inch and a quarter or something as you go up with it. The couple of things, guys, to know: if you use the board and batten LP siding like he's showing you right there now, that can eliminate sheeting if you're worried about weight or you're trying to keep costs down. You can put the house wrap right on top of your studs and use that 4x8 sheets of LP siding. It does have structural to it that could be your sheathing and your siding all at the same time.
We're going to be doing a little bit of that in the future as well.
Yeah. It looks like you got a mini split going on in the back there.
Yeah, and then we added some cedar shakes up there just to make it even more interesting. So
Oh yeah. What's the height from the ground up on these?
13'4".
Oh, okay, so you're just a couple inches under the maximum,
Yeah, we got
and
2
you've
inches.
got what, a 412 pitch? Just looking at it, I don't know.
It's a
Just guessing.
512.
512.
Close.
Okay,
Good
512.
guess.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah,
Let's
and then on
take a look at the other one that you're working on.
Yeah. We went with like I was saying, the shiplap, and then we did some pine tongue and groove on the ceiling.
Nice. Very nice. So the interior finishes are supposed to have a 200 flame spread rating on them, which anything you buy usually that's specifically for interior finishes will have that. They've already been tested. The only time we run into trouble is when you're like doing barn siding or something. But we do have tables for the thickness of the wood, and we can come up with the flame spread on that if need be. Where's your utility hookups on those for your
Oh, I'll show you.
electric?
Yeah, so well, this isn't a good example. We haven't plumbed this one in yet. For electric, it's a 50 amp plug-in.
Okay, right,
And then for water, we just do a standard water hose outlet.
right,
And-
okay.
Yep.
And that's just a drain that connects up to the septic system there?
Yeah, exactly. And this right here, we have that on, we're doing the pressure test earlier. So that's not, it looks like, when it's all said and done, it looks like this. Just we have like this is way too dark. We put a standard RV adapter there, but we can change that based on what it is the person's trying to do on their specific location.
Cool, cool. All right, what else, guys? What am I missing here? How many, you got doors and windows on the front on all your units. Is that kind of a standard? And then looks like you had a kitchen window on one side and a bedroom window on the end.
No kitchen window on this one, but we may be switching that up in the future. I think a lot of people
Okay.
prefer to have a kitchen, but this is the living area that we've done so far.
Okay, all right.
And then a thing you guys might find interesting, I don't know if this is something you want to look into, but we are looking into, you guys are familiar with Lippert trailers?
No,
Mm.
I'm not.
They do.
Ron's shaking his head, yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's a
Here's-
little dark, man. Look at that. I don't think you can see that, but we have a stack of 5 of them right there. So those are all from the Lippert.
Wow.
Can you, anybody familiar with those? Can you put those in the chat? The name, is it, I'm having a little trouble hearing you. Is it Lippert?
Lippert, Lippert. They do all of the trailers for park models and things like that.
Oh, okay. All right. That's good to know. We'll need to, because we have people asking us all the time, where do I get my trailers from? Now, normally a park model trailer is an 8-inch I-beam. Is that what you have on yours, 8-inch I-beams? And then you put your wood flooring across those, the outriggers and the main rails that you have there?
Exactly. And on these first 4 that we have here, we use the company called Hearst. They're okay. They're pretty good, actually. This is the same company that Incredible Tiny Homes uses for their trailers. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they're based out of Tennessee. And the guy who owns that company has been building trailers since the 70s. So they definitely know what they're doing. But the problem we ran into with them is just the lead time was just too great for us. And Lippert from the time you order to the time you receive is only 2 weeks. So that was really appealing to us.
Wow, that is great. That is great.
Yep.
And so what are you using on underlayment there? That looks like Armax or some kind of go back to the one we just passed. You just have it, you don't have siding on it yet?
Yeah, so this is Force Field. It's the same thing as Zip. It's just it's a different company, Georgia Pacific.
Oh, okay. So it's an OSB with a coating on it,
Exactly. Yep. Exact
and
same
then you
thing.
tape your joints and all of that. Okay. All right. All right. There's another product out there called Armax that we've seen some people using. It's just a 1/4 inch thick, but it does give the structural strength when it's nailed properly for the 140 mile an hour winds that we're looking for.
Yeah, and Tony was telling me about if you guys who don't know Tony is, he's one of your inspectors, but he was telling me there's a product called Ox IS, I believe it's pronounced. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but I just can't find anyone that carries it. But it sounded like a really interesting product because it was so lightweight.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I just bought some Armax for our little 14-footer from Home Depot, and they're like 1/4 inch thick, and they're real lightweight.
Oh, wow. Okay. Check that out. Cool.
All right, and there's take a look at that window, guys. You can see the nailing flange and the tape. So the moisture is a real big issue with these things. So we're getting a real good view of how he's taking those windows, and there's a way to tape them too, so that the laps go. And I think there's a video on our back office of how to do that. But you start from the bottom and then go up on the sides and then go across the top, in order to make sure that the laps of the tape actually are so the water flows downhill instead of trying to get in and underneath of them. And then you also tape inside of the window before you put your window in. So that gives you, some people just do it on the bottom and then up the side about 8 inches, and other people do it all the way up. But you know, that's important. Same thing with your door. You want that to be really taped up good. And then the last thing would be on your roofing. When you put your underlayment down, if you let your underlayment just lap over just a little bit on the top there, it'll seal up the, if you're using that ice and water shield, it'll seal that little eave, or I guess it's an overhang, not even an overhang, it's just an eave there. And do you use drip edge before you put your roofing on?
Yes, we do.
Whether it's metal or whether it's shingles, you use drip edge. Is that shingles? It kind of looks like shingles.
That's shingles on the front one up there, but this is it's like a grayish color metal siding. I'd like to, if I could get up there. I'll show you.
Oh, don't hurt yourself.
Didn't know the bill. I'm just kidding. But yeah.
Can you zoom in a little bit there? Does your camera zoom? I don't know whether zoom.
I don't think
No,
my camera's
it
that
doesn't zoom.
fancy, but
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see down there at the end. It's a little different. It's hard to see. Plus, we're on the East Coast, so it's already dark here.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, it can't really tell from this angle. You have to like be right up on it. But yeah, no, that's cool. So you have some shingles and you have some metal roof. What'd you say?
Yep.
26 gauge. Is
Yes,
it
yeah.
your standing seam or your 5V, or do you know what type of metal that is?
No, it's like the standard corrugated. It's not standing seam.
Okay, it's probably your 5V, what they call
Yep.
5V. It comes in 36-inch wide by whatever.
Exactly.
All right. What else, guys? We got him here. Can you give us a shot underneath of your trailer? I'd like to see what a deck over looks like.
Sure. Yeah. This one isn't like the ones we're going to be using. It's a 6-foot wide trailer. Actually, you can see it has the I-beams, and then
Yeah.
there's like really duty metal that comes out. And on ours, we have a thermal brake using R5 foam board under there, and then there's R21 in the floor, so it's altogether R26. So it's pretty good under there.
Now, the walls obviously are the weights on the outside. Do you have floor joists that cantilever over, or how do you support those walls? They're a foot out, a foot past your I-beams.
What was it?
The walls cantilever over past the I-beam.
Floor joists are cantilevered.
The floor joists.
Yeah,
over
the
past
floor
the
joists.
I-beam.
Yeah, past the I-beam, and they're 2x6s. So
Okay, because some people put outriggers. Some ANSI products will put outriggers on the I-beams every 4 feet, and then 2x4 floor system. Do you use 2x4s or 2x6 on your floors?
we use 2x6s, and again, we've moved over to Lippert, and they do, like you were saying, like every 4 feet there's outriggers, and we're
Okay.
still going to be using 6s even with those, just to be safe.
Cool. Well, guys, this has really been a lot of fun. Stephen, is there anything else you want to tell us about before we kind of pitch it back over to Leanne?
No, I appreciate you guys and gals having Tiny House Listings as a guest on your show, and it's been a pleasure,
Yeah.
and I'm looking forward to working with you guys in the future.
All
Awesome.
right. And it's tinyhouselistings.com. Is that how they get a hold of it?
Yeah, that's it. Yep. And I can,
Yeah.
also they can email me at steven@tinyhouselistings.com if anyone has any questions or wants to talk to me directly.
Is your
Perfect.
construction company called Tiny House Listings?
Yeah. Yeah. It's all under the marketplace, and our building company's all under the same roof. So
Perfect. All right,
Great.
well, I'm gonna send it back over to Leanne there.
thank you, everyone.
Yeah, Stephen, thank you so much for taking time to spend with us to show us your operation and talk to
Thank
us
you.
about your builds and tiny house listings. We know you're busy,
course.
so I really appreciate you being our guest this evening. And if anyone, you guys got any other questions or anything? If not, we're gonna wind this down. We'll be here tomorrow for Tom Stanton will be chatting with us. And we will not be doing anything Wednesday night or Thursday night. We'll be enjoying pumpkin pie and turkey. So with that, you guys have a really good evening. Have a great Monday night, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody, and thanks again, Stephen.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.